You know, it's interesting. I couldn't get bikes the early half of this year, and now that bikes have started rolling in, it's so unbearably hot. It's hard to get out and ride them, but I did manage to get in a sweat in the eyes ride, my first trail ride with the Ozark Trail 29. That video review is coming this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Tonight I want to show you something else I've been working on, and it directly ties in with that Ozark Trail and big box bikes in general. And it has to do with my live stream footage. If you are a live stream viewer, you'll even notice this video playing in the background. It's my live stream lead-in clip. Look, I appreciate each and every live stream viewer more than you could know, but I do realize live streams aren't for everyone. And I once made a summary video of a live stream when I had a footage goof up, which I received good feedback on, so I thought maybe I should start with each and every live stream making a summary edit. This is the summary edit from Livestream 20, which again ties in with some of the content you're going to see in that Ozark Trail 29er review. You can do me and the channel a favor by commenting on this video if you like this sort of thing. And if you do, I'll make sure to do one on each and every live stream from this point forward. A win for everyone. Us live stream fans get our fix, and the people that don't care for the live audience interaction can skip all that, but still catch all the main topics in an amended form. So be sure to let me know, and here we go. The key topics from Livestream 20, as the Mandelbaums would say, it's go time. Topic number one, Shimano, and it's probably not the topic for the reason that you might think that it is. But Shimano, I'm going to talk about that. And then I want to talk about the title of this. Have we reached peak big box bike? I'll go into that. I'm going to talk about times have changed, and so have parts. See how that intertwines with our big box bikes. Just kind of a quick mention on it. And also, buying expensive. A lot of people say, don't even waste your time getting a big box bike. If you're like me and you buy bikes and then just kind of add parts to them as you go, don't waste your time doing that. Just go get the expensive bike. Of course, I always tell people, I've repeated this a million times, I'll repeat it a million more. Buy the best you can afford to buy at the time. But you know, I understand. You want to dip your toe in the water. We'll talk about that. Buying expensive and then regretting it. That's my second part of that, buying expensive. Topic number one, Shimano. Now I'm going to say that again, Shimano. And I want to ask you a question. How do you say Shimano? Or how do you say Shimano? And the reason I say that, I've always said it exactly like I've been stating, and I hear that from the local bike shop. Pretty much everyone that I've ever been around has said that. What if I said Shimano? Does that sound more proper? Is that how you say it? And the reason that I bring this up, it's kind of a hidden back joke between me and a friend. If you've been watching this channel a long time, you will know that there is David that used to ride with me. And David actually literally ran over me at one point on the trail because I was stupid and stopped on the trail. But David and me, one day we were watching videos and there was this guy, just YouTube video guy, that said Shimano, Shimano, Shimano. And we made that, it's just an ongoing joke with us. If he's ever in a Walmart and he sees a bike and thinks, wonder if Kevin knows this is out, he'll call me and he'll go, yeah, there's this new bike and it's got this, it's got this. And when he gets to Shimano, it's always, and Shimano parts, it's an ongoing running thing with us. But haven't we been wrong? And has everyone that I know and have ever dealt with, that have dealt with bikes, been wrong in the pronunciation of Shimano? Is it Shimano? The reason I say this, kick back, watching YouTube the other night, and lo and behold, a Shimano commercial comes on. And right at the end of it, the guy that was doing the narration for the commercial said Shimano. Shimano, and that was on an official product. So that leads me to believe that maybe random YouTuber guy is the smart one. And me and everyone else I know just don't know how to talk, which is entirely possible because most of the people I know are in Alabama. We can barely talk or barely speak English as it is. I just wanted to throw that out there because I saw the commercial and I couldn't wait. I'm reaching out to David. Dude, you're not going to believe this. You are absolutely not going to believe this. But YouTuber guy was right and we were wrong all this time. So there you go. Shimano is maybe Shimano, or, I guess maybe this is like aluminum and aluminium, because we in America say aluminum, and that's even in our periodic tables, but it's not everywhere else. So maybe that's the case. Shimano. Let's talk about times have changed and so have parts, and this is going to lead in to something else. Just think back to 2017, any time before our modern era of big box bikes. And it was common to have those tiny little, 25.4, the diameter of handlebars. And then we started moving up. We move up to 31.8 on most big box bikes. What has changed and the parts that they have changed? We used to have, it was a super, super common thing in the big box world to have if you got a disc brake. I mean, if being the operative word. If you got a disc brake, it might be exactly that. A disc brake, singular, as in up front. In the back, you would have rim brakes. And we would look for those frames that we were lucky enough to have mounts so that we could put a disc brake on the back too. And that kept going up until, 2021? Really started massively getting faced on 2022, even though there are still bikes. There are still bikes. But for the most part, we've seen the step up. So just pretend this is the narrow diameter, and we've stepped up to the 31.8. We have disc brakes that are dual disc brakes now for at least front wheels. A lot of the times now we won't have bolt-on, at least when you get to $300, $400 bikes, we won't have a bolt-on wheel, we'll have a quick release. So times have changed, parts have changed on big box bikes, and I'm going to make an argument about disc brakes here. We are starting to see some hydraulic disc brakes, but that's on bikes. The price is going up as well. That seems to be a premium toggle switch with manufacturers and Walmart. Throwing a hydraulic and we're going to add on $200. So, but we are seeing going from rim brakes to a disc brake and a rim brake to dual disc brakes, and now sometimes from mechanical to actual hydraulic disc brakes. Think about how we've been transitioning up the ladder. Have we peaked with big box bikes? Have we peaked? Because let's talk about this, or think about this. The 2020 bike revolution. That's what I call it now. The 2020 bike revolution. That was when we got the new aluminum comp, because we had the 2019 aluminum comp. We made Project Comp out of that, and I thought that was a pretty good bike at that time. Then 2020 rolled around. That was 2019. And then, as a matter of fact, I do want to say that contact is not at Schwinn anymore, but they told me that they referred to the previous model as the 2019 aluminum comp because that was when I made it a project bike. So that was the 2019 aluminum comp, and then we got the 2020. In 2020, we got the aluminum comp with the tapered head tube, the TAF with the tapered head tube. We got the Boundary. Yeah, the new Boundary, which was so awesome, with the tapered head tube. And the Boundary and the TAF, of course, had a 1x. We'd always been asking for that 1x, and not the 1x where you got 1x7 and it was a 14 to 28 tooth freewheel, even though every now and then we still see that. We got an actual 1x with a freewheel that wasn't a 14 to 28 tooth, so it started going up. And I was thinking about this. You know, if you start trying to lose weight, or maybe trying to gain weight, you're trying to bulk up, there's usually that quick ramp up where you can do little things and have a profound impact. So if you have a curve, it's really starting to shoot up, but rather quickly, it seems like you meet a plateau. And whatever you're trying to do, and this is the weight loss, weight gain, bulking up, working on your bike, it's easy to get working on your bike that quick little difference that makes such a huge difference. But then you do the 4 or 5 low-hanging fruit things, then all of a sudden it gets a little harder to make any large, profound improvements from that point. It seems like, you spend $300 and you've basically made an entirely different bike out of this bike, a revolutionarily different ride. Just use the word revolution and revolutionary all in one topic, but an entirely different ride at a different level. And then you could spend another $1,000 on it and just get a little incremental change sometimes. So that's, it's easy to start ramping up, but then you hit that plateau. So I'm thinking, have we done that with big box bikes? Because think about what's came out since 2020, and we have been getting slow little incremental things. The Ozark Trail, those are $398, and they have a lot of the parts that we've been asking for, and they have the geometry and stuff like that we've been asking for. So are we at that point where for $400, what else could we get? I don't envision manufacturers putting, we have some bikes that have a through axle on the front, but then we're creeping up into that $600-700 range. So I don't expect that. I would like to see all of our bikes have a quicker release rear wheel at the least, but we're starting to see that on some bikes, $490 or $398, and you get quick release on the front and rear. We've got our one by, now we're starting to see cassettes on the back wheel, so we get a rim, wheel set that we don't have to immediately swap out. We're getting some decent little bikes that are kind of competing for this one price point. So have we plateaued? Where else is there to go? This has really been weighing on me. I've been thinking about it a lot because obviously, as a channel, it's kind of what I do. But you just lather, rinse, repeat, which from my perspective, as a channel, there are always new viewers. So channels can do that. I get the luxury of that. But as a manufacturer, what do you do? Talked about the big bike revolution, going into expensive bikes, buying and then regretting with my Cannondale Trigger 3, which is a funny thing. That was what I called my legitimacy bike. I called it my legitimacy bike because at that time, people saying, well, you've upgraded the XR Pro and you claim that that's good. Or you've upgraded this bike or that bike. Can't even remember at that point where was that upgrade and which bike I was riding. But people, you just don't know what a good bike is. Well, yeah, I do. And I bought that bike so I'd have it as my legitimacy bike. But there were two downsides to that bike for me. Number one, in my rush to get the bike that I wanted and the bike that was orange and the Cannondale lust that I had going on, I bought a large frame and I ride mediums. So it was one of those things where I couldn't have the dropper post all the way up. I had to lower it back down. So lower it all the way to get on the bike or do whatever I want to do. And then when I raised it back up, it's go up and then slightly back down. So I really needed a medium. But also, that bike was a hot rod. And that bike made me want to push it harder and harder and harder. And the first time a super expensive bike goes over, that's a whole different feeling. Super expensive to me. Now, some people might balk at $6,000+. That's not expensive. Well, it's expensive to me. And it's expensive enough that any of my project builds, if I had to fall off that bike or jump bail off that bike and it rode down a ravine and into a tree somehow on its own and snapped the head tube or did whatever damage, I would, hopefully have that on footage because it would make a good video. But even if I didn't, if I got GoPro'd and the GoPro didn't save the footage, which happened to me the other day, if I got GoPro'd or I didn't have footage, I would still be kind of okay. It would still not be good. You don't ever want to break your stuff. But if I break one of my project bikes, I can fix that. I can afford to fix that. If I totaled a $6,000+ bike, that is a big, big deal to me. And I can guarantee you, I like to keep my stuff nice. But even on a mountain bike where I know over time it's going to kind of get beat up progressively more over time, it's bothersome when it's a very expensive bike. And even doing things where you start pushing the bike more and more and more, even if it's very capable. A very capable bike, pushing it more and more and more, eventually something's going to break. Eventually it's going to break. And if a rear shock, like there's the hydroform frame right up there, and on that is I think when I bought them, they were like $69. Now I think they're $89. But an $89 rear shock, if I blow that out, well, you know, next week or within the next month, I'll be able to replace that. If you blow out a proprietary $500 or $600 shock, that's not as easy to swallow, especially if you blow out other stuff along with it. So I want to talk about this because I always say buy the best bike you can afford. And I have people talk about, well, if you just save up your money. If you save up your money, you can buy this bike. I've talked about this a million times. Well, by saving up money, yeah, that's great. But where's the line between not riding for 6 months, a year? Odds are most people, if they don't buy when they can afford to buy whatever they can afford to buy, they're probably not going to be on a bike because other things are going to get in the way. Some people, you know, if you tell them to wait and save up and buy that expensive bike that they've got their eye on, they might not even like mountain biking. I know people that know people that have talked to me. Hey, so-and-so wants to borrow a bike. I loan a lot of bikes out. So-and-so wants to borrow a bike and go ride it with me on the trail to see if they want to get into mountain biking. And they really like the idea of mountain biking. It sounds so cool. They love this bike. They want one just like it. They get out there. You know, this just isn't for me. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of repetition, pedaling, and just, you know, it's not for everyone. I mean, race car driving, motorcycles, scooters. There's so many things that people get into and then they have regret because they spend all that money and then they try to get out of it. And, you know, when you're searching around on Facebook Marketplace or Let Go or wherever you're searching, every now and then you come across that one item that you'd be looking at and, wow, why is that so cheap? And it's that person and it looks brand new. Looks like it wasn't even used. And it's that person that got something because they liked the idea of it and never rode it. That happens a lot with scooters. People get a scooter and see them sometimes, they have 75, 80 miles on them and they're brand new. And yeah, I bought it, rode it one time, almost crashed, decided I wasn't a scooter person. So I parked it in the garage and there it has been sitting for however many years. So same thing with mountain bikes. That's the one side of the regret. The second side is if you have somebody like me, and you might probably be like me if you're here, and you buy an expensive bike, the one that you've been eyeballing for so long and have the dreams of, well, I ride like this now, but if I have that, I can ride like this. I can do all this stuff. I can be whoever I want to be on this bike. You have the grandiose dreams. But then you get out there, just like I did with that Cannondale Trigger 3, and I'm always worried that I'm going to bash the bottom bracket, bash guard, and knock it off on a rock, or I'm going to fall over onto a rock and ruin the carbon fiber frame, or these carbon fiber bars are going to snap. You know what I'm saying here. You get that nice bike and you're worried about it. And if this breaks, can I afford to even fix it? Because I've really bought above my level. So yeah, bike regret. Have you ever had that, or have you ever seen that? Because I know it exists. I know it very much exists. And that's probably the biggest argument for big box bikes. Because you can dip your toe in the water. And if you can dip your toe in the water, like, you know, $400 bike, that if you like it, you can actually keep riding that bike and then add a little bit to it and make it even better. That's a win-win all around. I don't understand why people tell people never to do that. And I think most of the people have that perception of big box bikes as they used to be, and it has greatly, greatly evolved. And that was the gist of Livestream 20. Again, be sure to let me know what you think about this summary format, and also be very sure you have that notification bell active and anything else you need to do to be informed of the upcoming video releases. Ozark Trail 29, a couple of affordable mountain bikes, and it's school buying season. Lots of people are looking for campus bikes, and that means a lot of e-bikes are hitting the market for those riders. And I have quite a few e-bikes coming up. It's going to be busy. Make sure you tune in. Also some scooter content. Thank you so much for watching KevCentral, and have a great day. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back better than last. Yeah, it's a new